Welcome back to Spectrum of the Arts. An exciting summer project revolving around Pinellas County theater teachers was a resounding success, culminating with a sold-out 3-night performance at the West Coast Players Theater in Clearwater. Board of Directors President Ashley Johnson filled us in on how it all came about.
At West Coast Players, we were looking for a special project to take on over the summer. We previously had produced an original one-act festival, and we were wanting to try something new. So the idea came up with the board of directors because we have had so many teachers perform on our stage in our community theater productions that it might be a unique and interesting opportunity to bring all of those teachers together to do their own special project, given that so many of us, particularly if you're a theater teacher, spend the majority of your time coaching and teaching students. It's always fun to turn the tables and get on stage ourselves. There was great interest in the project. The only difficulty came when we were talking about scheduling. So, we used a scheduling software to look and see, okay, when in the summer could we possibly get all of our human beings in the same building together? By the time we figured that out, we knew we'd have about half a dozen teachers lined up to perform.
The play, The School for Lies, was directed by highly respected Dr. Susan Demers, who in her professional life is Dean of the College of Policy Ethics and Legal Studies at St. Petersburg College.
This is an adaptation of Molière's Misanthrope, and it was written by the American playwright David Ives, who is a wordsmith and a word fancier. And his idea for dealing with the constricted language of classical French theater, which Molière would have laid out for us, was to put it in rhyming English couplets. So that meant that you had a very dense script, and it's very difficult to ad-lib in rhyming distic couplets, and it's also really challenging to cut it if you are running long or it's just ponderous to the audience. So it's been a challenge.
As unshrinking, or should I say, be as unthinking. You put Racine and all his ilk to shame? If this dummy, I'll say his name, dummy, whose every fault was just now flaunted, if this dummy had something that you wanted?
A canapé.
No, thank you. Give me truth!
As is the case with most productions, behind-the-scenes activities play an important role. In this case, right down to the floor.
It was important for us as a scenic element to have a forced perspective checkerboard floor. A checkerboard floor, or the black and white tile floor, is sort of an iconic look for French neoclassic scenic design, and we wanted to put our own slant on that. So it was an incredibly difficult but fun and challenging project to take on. It involved a lot of mathematics, which is something you don't always think of as going along with the theater, but it was an engaging process, and I was fortunate to be able to learn a new skill this whole project as well.
Many times actors don't feel free to add their own bits, thoughts, and ideas. And with this group of teachers, maybe because I knew most of them pretty well, everyone felt free to make suggestions, each one in their own way. Some of them would take me aside, some of them would send me a text, some would just blurt it out right in rehearsal, but that really makes it more fun because there's nothing more collaborative than a theatrical performance.
And of course, this is a teacher project, so I love these people that I'm working with, and I love to perform. So any chance that I get to be on stage, I will take it.
Working with the teachers has been great because there's a difference between an actor and somebody who teaches the acting. They just kind of get it a little bit more, and they understand the process more, and quite honestly, they're easier to work with and easier to deal with because again, they understand that not only are we in the show and learning the lines, but we have to prepare for classes as well. Even over summer, we've got to prepare for things. So everybody seems to understand the trials and tribulations.
I'm a very physical actress, so I need to know where I'm going. So once we got our blocking, which is the movement on the stage, on my porch, in the bedroom, in the kitchen, I start doing the lines, but I'm walking and sitting and standing and making my faces and doing things like that.
For heaven hangs above our heads. Reach up, he cries. Hate lies, love man instead.
I didn't understand a thing you said. Love man? A race only meant for destruction?
Oh, your rage shows the strength of your seduction.
Pox on mankind, I said.
Your anger's an affectionate display.
There was a little additional pressure on the teachers for this one. Why? Because many of their students were in the audience to check out their mentors' performing skills.
Now I have to show them what I've been teaching them and hopefully do it right. And hopefully they're not going to catch me on something and say, you told me how to do that, but you didn't do it.
I won't complain. Just speak your thoughts. Don't panic. Don't pander.
Remember, Frank, we have penalties for slander.
What if I penalize his rhyme scheme?
Ready?
Bystanders at a crime scene.
Song. Code. The poem is formally a song, you see.
You know, it's so funny. I love performing and I can do it in front of millions of people. But in front of my kids, I get a little nervous. So yeah, it's a little extra pressure.
Who? Solomon.
What?
All right, I lied. I fibbed, no quibbling. And her, I told he's His Highness's sibling.
You fool! You clown! You pushed them into each other's arms!
So what's the prospect might be fun?
You're so unfeeling! Don't ever speak to me again!
Oh, I'm really...
No, you man! I knew you had no heart. You bring us this God and then force us to part.
What God?
God, Frank.
Oh, now you're giving me the Jim Jam.
It's important to be able to, as an artist, fulfill yourself so that you can then have that to contribute to other projects and particularly in my case, my students. So it's important for me to know that I can still memorize lines, I can still find the enjoyment in acting myself, and to be able to challenge myself, and particularly in this case, to work with my colleagues and put together something that was so challenging and yet so fun. And that's a renewed energy that I will take back with me to the classroom this year, because anytime you collaborate with your peers, with your colleagues, with new people, you learn new skill sets. You learn how to invigorate that artistic ability that you have yourself so that you can cultivate it in others.
Where's the crown?
As is the sea green gown.
Oh, that specificity is a mite confusing.
Part of the challenge of putting together a show like this one is that the production costs of putting together classical French drama are really high. If we were to costume this in the era in which it is set, 1666, what it would cost to create a single gown would be 5 times more than our entire production budget. So trying to come up with a two-dimensional way of recreating the societal strictures that Molière is trying to make fun of and push to the nth degree, that was a real challenge for us. And so I hope that when an audience looks at it, they appreciate the chances that the actors are taking, because I don't have a sofa, I have 3 chairs. It's all on the actors to create the world of Solomon's Salon.
Well, that's it for now. We hope you have enjoyed our show and will join us again for our next Spectrum of the Arts. We'll see you next time. I'm Jonathan Ogle.